आगे कुर्सी लेकर आगे नजदीक जय प्रभु हरि बोल।
Hare Om Krishna mantra very distinctively. Nevertheless, such a person receives all the benefits of chanting the holy name while the body is fit. Therefore, why should we not chant the holy name of the Lord loudly and distinctly? If one does so, it is quite possible that even at the time of death, he will be properly able to chant the holy name of the Lord with love and faith. In conclusion, one who chants the holy name of the Lord constantly is guaranteed to return home back to Godhead without doubt. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentary to texts 9 and 10 of this chapter form a dialogue concerning how one can become free from all sinful reactions simply by chanting the holy name of the Lord. Someone may say, this is the dialogue here, someone may say, it may be accepted that by chanting the holy name of the Lord, one becomes free from all the reactions of sinful life. However, if one commits sinful acts in full consciousness, not only once but many, many times, he is unable to free himself from the reactions of such sins, even after atoning them for 12 years or more. How is it possible then that simply by once chanting the holy name of the Lord, one immediately becomes free from the reactions of such sins? Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur replies by quoting verses 9 and 10 of this chapter. The chanting of the holy name of Lord Vishnu is the best practice of atonement for a thief of gold or other valuables, for a drunkard, for one who betrays a friend or relative, for one who kills a brahmana, for one who indulges in sex with the wife of his guru or another superior. It is also the best method of atonement for one who murders women, the king or his father, for one who slaughters cows, and for all other sinful men. That's a pretty heavy list of sins. Simply by chanting the holy name of Lord Vishnu, such sinful persons may attract the attention of the Supreme Lord, who therefore considers, because this man has chanted my holy name, my duty is to give him protection. One may atone for sinful life and vanquish all sinful reactions by chanting the holy name. Although this is not called atonement, ordinary atonement may temporarily protect the sinful person, but does not completely cleanse the heart of the deep-rooted desire to commit sinful acts. Therefore, atonement is not as powerful as chanting the holy names of the Lord. In the Shastras, it is said that if a person only once chants the holy name and completely surrenders under the lotus feet of the Lord immediately considers him his ward and is always inclined to give his protection. This is confirmed by Sridhar Swami. Thus, Manajamila was in great danger of being carried off by the order carriers of Yamaraj. The Lord immediately sent his personal order carriers to protect him. And because of Ajamila was free from all sinful reactions, the Vishnu Dutas spoke on his behalf. Ajamila had named his son Narayana, and because he loved the boy very much, he would call him again and again. And although he was calling for his son, the name itself was powerful because the name Narayana is no different from the Supreme Lord Narayana. Manajamila named his son Narayana, all reactions of his sinful life were neutralized, and does not immediately yield fruits, but in time the fruits are available. Similarly, Ajamila's devotional service grew little by little, and therefore, although he committed very sinful acts, the reactions did not affect him. In the Shastra, it is said that if one chants the holy name of the Lord even once, the reactions of past, present, and future sinful life do not affect him. To give another example, if one extracts the poison fangs of a serpent, that saves the serpent's future victim from poisonous effects. Even if the serpent bites repeatedly, similarly, if the devotee chants the holy name, even inoffensively, this protects him. Even once inoffensively, this protects him eternally. He need only wait for the result of the chanting to mature in due course of time. Samskar children, and then to maintain her and the children that had been born. He engaged in all kinds of nefarious activities to help his brother maintain a prostitute and children like that. He's lost his reputation, he's lost his respect, and so he can't go out and teach or perform yajnas. And so he took to stealing and even murdering in order to get wealth to maintain this situation. So it was a very troublesome downward spiral for Ajamila. Very, very troublesome. One small lapse in consciousness led to so many more steps of degradation. And so, at the end of his life, Ajamila, he is performing all kinds of sinful acts. It was mentioned here in the Prabhu of drinking liquor, was referenced to stealing and murdering. This sinful life that he had. At age, he's very old now. At this moment in the story, he's elderly. I'm trying to, Bhagavatam actually gives the number, I'm trying to remember. Does anybody remember? 65, 75, there's a number in there. He's elderly. He's 70 something. The number is given. And he has a baby. He has another baby. But he's not living up. He's into his old age, he's continuing to produce children. He has many, many children. And at 70 something, go back and find the age, he has a baby. And by this time, his other family members don't really like him. Somebody who lives by stealing and murdering, they're not going to be a nice person to be around. Not somebody who shows a lot of love and affection. And so his other children don't like him. They don't like how they live, where they live, how society looks on them. And it's all from their father. And so they don't respect him. The only person from whom he can get a little affection is this little one, this toddler, Narayana. He's called him Narayana. That is his one good deed in all of these years that have passed since his decline, since his degradation. He's done one good thing. He named this little baby Narayana. He just liked the sound. This child was too young to judge him, to know what a bad person he is. Innocent like a child. This child is too young to judge him. So he still has affection there. And so this is his only shelter. As he's dying, he calls out to this boy. As he's dying, he sees the most terrifying agents of Yama. The Yama Duta. Duta means messenger. He sees these agents of Yama. Most terrifying in their features. The Yama Dutas. They are, in fact, very pious souls. The Pitris, who go to Pitri Loka, but depend on their descendants to continue to offer pinda on their behalf. The Pitris, they're dependent on their the children, the generations of children that go after them. So long as those children are offering pinda, offering shraddha, doing piety, the Pitris get some benefit, they can stay there. They can continue to enjoy in Pitri Loka. When that stops, when that dharma is discontinued in the family, and there is no proper offering of sacrifice, the Pitris are starved. And they can no longer remain in that position. They become very, very angry, particularly angry at those who do not do dharma. Those who violate dharma, they are hated by the Pitris because they are forced from their position. And so their features transform, and they become, with that anger, that our features change. When somebody looks angry, they have terrifying features. And so the other Buddhists, they have permanently terrifying features. They are angry at those who violate dharma, who do not maintain dharma in the family. And so they become the agents of Yamaraj. Very pious souls. Very pious souls who hate those who violate dharma. And so they are coming to take this sinful Ajamil, violator of dharma. They will not treat him well. They will not treat him kindly. And so Ajamil sees them. As he's leaving his body, as his soul is separated from his body, he now sees things on another dimension. He sees these Yamadutas, these agents of death with ropes. They will drag him. They will not take him gently. They will drag him to the court of Yamaraj for proper judgment and justice. And so, with every last breath, with every last strength that he has, he calls out, Narayana, Narayana, his only shelter. And the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayana, sends his own duties, his own agents, his own messengers, his own proper, first one here is order carriers, the Vishnu Dutas. And they fill that space with light, their beautiful forms, similar to that of Narayana himself, each with 4 arms. They carry weapons. these holy names have the power to destroy sin. The other Buddha's objecting. He wasn't chanting the holy name to chant the holy name. He was chanting the holy name by chance. He was in fact calling his son. That toddler there's name is Prahlad. Yeah, but it doesn't matter. He gets the benefit of having chanted the holy name. And Prabhupada's purport expands on this to say that this chanting was going on over some period of time. And every time Ajamila uttered that holy name, untold sinful activities, untold numbers of sinful activities would be destroyed. Krishna Chakravarti Thakur, he bases some important questions that Prabhupada discusses in his commentary. Is it not an offense to chant the holy name to destroy sins or to commit sinful activities on the strength of the holy name? And Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, yes, indeed it is. If we chant the holy name and think, well, this actually really works. I can sin and then chant and sin and then chant and sin and chant. I just clear this slate and I continue to commit sinful activities and ensure myself an auspicious result at the end. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that is sinful. And the holy name will withdraw mercy if you take that action. But that was not the case with Ajamila. He was not chanting to free himself of sin. He was chanting occasionally. He was chanting by chance. And so the sin was being destroyed and he was not getting, he was not committing the offense. This non-aparad of committing sinful activities on the strength of the holy name. So that's incredible. Yeah, the holy name is so merciful. So Haridas Thakur, he expands on this. He tells Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that he gives another example. He says Ajamila is one reference that one unconsciously chants the holy name and gets benefit. Haridas Thakur, he says even he gives an example of a Mohammedan. He says the Mohammedan is the Muslim. For a Mohammedan, then the worst type of death would be death by a pig, because for Muslims, pigs are particularly bad, particularly unclean. And Muslims eat meat, but they will never eat pig. Just too unclean. And so to die, being gored by a pig, what could be worse than that? So Haridas Thakur, he says that if the Mohammedan who's being gored by the pig says in their language, for everyone can hear, I can see it's moving, so say it loudly for all of us to hear. Haram. Haram, apparently, according to Haridas Thakur, means abominable. Haram. This is abominable. Haridas Thakur says they get the benefit of saying, oh no. Oh no, the blessing Sri Vallacharan. Haridas Thakur says even if between the names there are other syllables inserted, unintendedly, what then would be the benefit to chanting the holy name consciously, with intention? So much greater, is it not? That is the process that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has brought to us. That is the process that Srimad Bhagavatam emphasizes throughout. What was achieved in previous ages by the performance of penance, meditation, austerity in such a yuga, what was achieved in previous ages, such as Agnihotra, fire sacrifice, and Treta Yuga, what was achieved in the Dvapara Yuga through opulent temple worship, Srimad Bhagavatam establishes can be achieved in this Kali Yuga just by chanting the holy names. One of the concluding verses of the Srimad Bhagavatam makes this point. It is so powerful. It is so powerful that we might doubt, really? Performing penance and austerity, that takes so much energy, so much concentration. Organizing great Agnihotra, fire sacrifice with those kinds of brahmanas with light fire with mantra, takes so much discipline. Temple worship, we know anyone who's a temple president knows, takes a lot of energy, a lot of effort. We built these beautiful temples here in Sydney where it's struggling to get the lines, to get the funds together, to build a purpose-built temple for the needies. It takes so much energy. And Bhagavatam is saying that the same benefit is achieved in this age just by chanting the holy name. We can doubt that. It just seems too good to be true. Too easy. In Australia, it's a common. I said that in New Zealand too. In Australia, like anything that, like, some people that you've been talking to, particularly trainees, their response to anything will be too easy. Too easy. Thank God for too easy. I have this problem with too easy. It's like a catch-all response. So we might think of this holy name, this chanting of the holy name as too easy. When Haridas Thakur was invited to a gathering of scholars, of pundits, at the house of Hiranya and Govardhan Bajamudara, the different speakers, they stood up and they said, this holy name is so powerful, it can award liberation. Everyone was very, very impressed. This holy name can give liberation, can give mukti. Mukti is so hard to achieve. We are stuck in the cycle of samsara. We have been here since time immemorial. And then we hear this holy name, chanting, Harinam Kirtan, Harinam Japa, can award mukti. The scholars, they applaud the speaker. Bravo, this is wonderful. Haridas Thakur then had his turn to speak. And he said, actually, the statement that the holy name can award mukti, that's just a side benefit. Chanting the holy name can award prema, can award pure love for Krishna. Not just liberation, not just freedom from sin, not just freedom from suffering, it can award love. Gopal Chapal, he was one of the scholars there. He became most indignant. He said, how is it possible? How is it possible? Yogis, they perform regimented austerity to achieve liberation. And you're saying that that which can be achieved by chanting the holy name is even greater than that. And as Thakur explained further, he said, yes, the whole point of liberation, the freedom from suffering, destroying of sin, he said that is something that happens, this is the opposite side there, that's something that happens coincidentally. It's like, he gave the example, he said it's like when the sun rises in the morning. Even before the sun has risen, during the night there might be criminals out and about, using cover of darkness to engage in different nefarious acts. But as the sun starts to rise, they take cover. They return to their hiding places or place of camp. Aristotle says in the same way, even when not the pure name, but the shadow of the name, this unintentional chanting, accidental chanting takes place, that causes the sins to rush away. And when the pure name rises, everything is completely clear. So the accidental chanting, like Ajahn sins go away. The pure chanting, love is awakened. We need to understand this distinction. Ajahn, he's being protected from the reactions to sin. He's not been awarded with love. He's not been awarded with prayer. The verse that we read today says that he goes back to Godhead. It's just checking here again. While suffering at the time of death, Ajahn chanted the holy name of the Lord. Although the chanting was directed toward his son, he nevertheless returned home back to Godhead. Therefore, if one faithfully and inoffensively chants the holy name, where is the doubt that he will return to Godhead? And Prahlad just said he didn't return back to Godhead. Further explanation required. Freedom from sin, freedom from suffering, that he was given immediately for his inattentive chanting. The Vishnu Dutas did not take him back to Godhead. They returned him to his body, right? And actually, woke up or regained consciousness from this near-death experience. And he understood, I have been wayward, I have erred in my ways, I have made a great mistake with the choices I've made in terms of how I've lived my life. Now I'm going to set things right. Where did he go? He went to Haridwar. Haridwar, the gate to Hari. He went to Haridwar and practiced serious sadhana bhakti, recognizing the mistakes he made, going with a mood of humility. He practiced sincere sadhana at Haridwar. And through that practice, he was able to awaken prema. He was able to awaken love for Krishna. And so, eventually, when he was ready, the Vishnu Dutas returned with their flower aeroplane, Pushpak Viman, and they took him back to Godhead. So chanting inattentively, accidentally, it will remove sin, but it will remove sin. Chanting attentively, chanting with the intention of pleasing Krishna, will awaken prema. That's our goal, that's our interactions